Nigeria is one of the greatest countries on this planet. My biggest reason why I say that is because there is nothing fake about Nigeria. And Nigerians do not apologize for who they are and for who their fellow countrymen are and for what they do and the position that they have in this world. Nigeria will rule Africa. Lagos will be the capital of the world one day, mark my words. Right, I'm melodramatic. Okay, why? Let's look at the history. I'm looking at stuff here on the internet. People try on Netflix. People need sensation and all those kind of things. That's the thing about Nigeria. They don't need sensation. They don't need to be the headline story. They don't need to be the subject of a Netflix documentary. They are who they are, and screw you. And I mean it in the best possible way. They do not care. They are great. They know they are great. They don't have to prove it to the idiots in Germany, my idiot friend who's come with his horrible, retarded views of Nigeria. They say screw those people. Screw the South Africans with their haughty, arrogant, pathetic views of Nigeria. Screw all of you guys. We will rule this country. We will rule Africa. And I don't say they say we want to rule Africa. I say they will rule Africa just because of the type of people who they are. Right, couple of examples. The thing that first struck me is, I love history. I love history of meat. I love history of humanity, because history of humanity, history of meat, interconnected, intertwined. I go for what is truth. I don't go for the bullshit ways that people now say, oh, this is the way that we need to see the world, all the marketing type of bullshit, liberal bullshit and all that kind of thing. It is what it is, right? And you put it down and you say there's nothing less. Where people say, I don't know, I hate this phrase, it is what it is. What I mean is, it is without bullshit. It is what you see them for what they are. There's no smoking mirrors. And that's Nigeria. So I do research on the Khoi in southern Africa, and the Khoi San, we call them, but they actually refer to two different kinds of people. The Khoi were semi-nomadic people, herders. They had cattle, they had fat-tailed sheep and those kind of things. And I learned two things about these people from one of these ancient travels in Southern Africa books that was written in the 16, 17, 1800s. And the author says that he describes his dietary laws. Three things. They don't eat with women. The men don't eat with women because they're scared that they're going to be in their menstrual cycle and therefore unclean. And the other thing is they don't eat pork. But pork was never a big thing in Southern Africa in any case. So why this strange law? It sounds to me like Jewish dietary laws. Okay, coming to Nigeria, I find out that there's a tribe in Nigeria who believe that they descend from Israel. They're Israelites. Right? Who are genetically, it's been proven that they are not descendants from Israelites, but this is what these people believe. They have synagogues, they read the Torah, they read all the other oral traditions, the great rabbis. They're Jewish. And I think to myself, this is a link to Southern Africa. This is a tidbit of telling about this link. Genetically, we know that the Khoi comes from West Africa. Another example is the fact that the Khoi worships the praying mantis, this little insect. And it is their god in South Africa. It was their god in the Western, the Khoi in South Africa. The god of the Hottentot, which is the word for Khoi. It was a derogatory term. It's how the Westerners heard their language. Hottentot is what we heard, how they speak. But it became a derogatory word. But so in Afrikaans, the praying mantis is the Hottentot God, the god of the Hottentot, the god of the Khoi. The Khoi, the Khoi, not the Khoi, the praying mantis got particular symbolic value in Nigerian folklore. And this is not the case in the rest of Africa. It's fascinating. So here I have these two oral traditions linking back into Southern Africa. Then you have this whole thing about meat preservation, where they preserved meat by rubbing groundnut cake onto it. And that, I found the story from the great ruins in Zimbabwe, just north of South Africa, where they would mix peanuts with dried meat when they rehydrate them, and that will become the soup. And in Nigeria, the groundnut, the dietary fiber, has been added for millennia to the meat to aid in the drying process of the meat. So it is fantastic that you have the culinary tradition that comes from West Africa. This part of this great meat preservation. In a previous video, I called it meat curing. Of course, I referred to it as actually meat preservation. Preserving meat, you remove the moisture. How do you remove the moisture? One of the ways is to put to coat the meat with a dietary fiber, such as the meal that is produced when you press from palm, from coconuts or from groundnuts or whatever the case may be. You press the oil out, and what is really left is the meal. The same with soya meal. And they would coat the meat in this, and this would aid in the preservation. Why? Because it will absorb the moisture. Reduce the moisture contents is the reason why we hang the meat in the sun, is to dry them out, is to reduce the moisture. Right? Without moisture, there's no bacterial activity. It preserves the meat. There's the enzymes, the activity of breaking down the meat is retarded. So this technology comes here from West Africa. Another example of the greatness of West Africa is their tradition in oral history. The richness of this country, in all the different people have this unbelievable rich traditions of very well developed old folklore. And the thing is, the people in Nigeria, they're not running to tell the story to the world. They keep it quiet. They don't like foreigners to come and poke their nose into their oral traditions. They don't like sharing it to people who's going to go and make it cheap. They value their stories and their tradition. And so there's this, I learned about this tradition among the Hausa people from the north. I inquired about their faith before they became Muslim. And they talk about the book of the book of the miracles of Pharaoh. And I inquired about this book, and apparently there's a story in the Bible where Moses goes before Pharaoh and he performed these miracles, and the book containing, and then the Egyptian magicians come and they try and do the same thing, and their staffs, their walking sticks turn into snakes, and they bestay snakes. Moses does the same thing, but he picks the snake up by its tail, and it becomes a staff again. And yeah, okay, brilliant. But the tradition of the miracles of Pharaoh lives on in a document that belongs to the Hausa people. And I asked the Hausa person whether he knows about this book, and his reply was, "How do you know about it? Who told you about this?" I said to him, "I know about it because I'm interested in these things. I want to learn these things. I'm interested in tradition. I'm a historian. I write stories down. It's a great story to tell." He says to me, "What do you want to do with it when you find it?" I said, "I want to read it." He said, "You won't be able to read it." I said, "But I will get somebody to translate it." He said, "It's not going to be easy." That person subsequently lives in, he's Hausa, he lives in Holland or Belgium now. I'm still in contact with his brother. But my quest has come to a bit of an end, but it's not dead. It's definitely not a dead end. Not in my life. I'm going to continue pursuing this. It's a story that has not been told. And it's a story that the Hausa people are not keen to let the world know about. It is something intimate to them, and something that they know among themselves, and that they read among themselves, and they practice among themselves. But they don't, Afrikaans, there's a word, you don't announce it to the world. It's precious to you, so you keep it to yourself. I was trying to find out similarly about the stories predating Christianity and Islam. Of course, is of great interest to me. Those are the real treasures I'm after, and I contacted the university in Kano in the north of Nigeria, and I asked them if they have access to those type of stories. Never heard from them. And I honestly didn't expect to hear from them, because it is the type of thing where they will tell you, and maybe this is not the case, but this is what I feel, knowing the Nigerians. They will say, if you're really interested, get on a plane and come and visit us. Make an appointment, come and sit down, explain why you want it, and then we'll tell you the stories. We'll happily share it with you. But it's not cheap. And it's not going to come cheap. And you're not going to put it on a YouTube video, whatever the case may be, and just entertain people by it. And this is Nigeria. It's a very serious country. It's people that should be taken very seriously. And yeah, they've gone through difficult things. There was a civil war, and there was instability, and there's complications with the relationship between Christian and the ancient beliefs and those kind of things, and the Muslim faith. Yeah, but the thing is, they will overcome that. And watch these people there. Sure, corruption is a problem in Nigeria, as it is in South Africa, as it was in old apartheid South Africa. It is not just the black man who steals. Go to South Africa and look at the previous apartheid government and see how much the white man stole from Africa. Why do you think South Africa kept on enslaving black people? Germany and England and Holland and America, they stole from Africa. Far more than any Gupta family in South Africa can even think to steal from South Africa. Just by the way. So, Nigeria is a rich country full of tradition. Next time I will tell you about my visit to Ile-Ife, one of the greatest moments of my life, where I visited the Rome, Jerusalem, Ile-Ife, one of the great 3-4 spiritual cities of this world. The place where the tradition goes was the first sunrise was seen on earth from that city. Absolutely remarkable depth of spirituality and tradition that is I went there, one of the greatest times of my life. One of the reasons why I will forever be grateful to my family here at the RT Group in Spar, Nigeria, the MD, Mr. Haresh Keswani, his son Karan, Rahul, these are the guys I work with, Mr. Arun Tulani, who allowed me to travel to Ile-Ife, made it possible for me, provided the means and the escort and security and all those kind of things that I needed for the trip. I'll tell you about that next time. It's a remarkable story, it's a remarkable place. It speaks to about spirituality and depth of understanding of humanity. So Nigeria is a country of untold stories where people are not eager to make Netflix documentaries about what makes this country great. And it's a country that I'm extremely proud of to be here and to share this with my friends and family. And I want to tell the stories that I can remember this. Some of the images I showed you was a variety of images from the beach and from some of the pubs and the great places. That's I see old Stefan there, and I see Steph, we call him. They can't say Stefan, so they call him Steph. And Piers, they're next to him. Piers is a legend in his own right. Stefan is a legend. I learned so much from this guy, and he challenges me. So the right type of South African arrives here, and I won't, a lot of people will say it's not right for me to say this, but for many reasons, Bayers and AJ, people who came and they, maybe they come back, maybe they don't. I value their friendship. Dani, fellow South African who knows Nigeria better than I do, who's traveled widely in this country, who loves this country and sees it for what it is, and the great people of this country, who agrees that these are some of the greatest people on earth. So, there's some of my stories, there's some of the things why I think it's a great country. Guys, next time, Ili Ife.